Oh, hi, everybody. Sorry for my very flattering look. Get out. I just don't feel like I just don't feel like feeling my hair, okay? So you might as well just have to stand this beauty. I hope it was nothing. We pray the Lord that nothing nothing happens. Okay, so as you saw, even that funny. Okay. So as you saw, the script, the video's title, I am going to do nothing for 1 hour without and with headphones for my combined ADHD booty cheeks. This is the worst thing ever. As the person that I am, I hate doing nothing. So we're just going to see what non-existent crisis will I go through this 2 hours, because it's with headphones and without headphones. With these footage, you will also know and visualize or see or experience how a person with combined ADHD or a person who has ADHD has to go through, especially when doing nothing. But anyways, I will be writing down like the amount of times that I changed my sitting positions, if I stood up, if shut you. One moment, please. If I started fidgeting or steaming, whatever the heck you want to call it, like that is so controversial because like I don't do it intentionally, and then people make fun of me for it. But whatever. If I looked around, when do I not? When, you know what? I'm not gonna add that because I be looking around every single time. If I use the phone. If I used the phone, if I picked up the phone, or how many times did I check the time? Or if I danced. Or if I set my room on fire. Without any further ado, let's get started. Starting with headphones. I am stepping on the right ground. I am feeling, to be honest, I was like, this is nothing. I got something to listen to. At least my thoughts aren't as loud because the music filters everything. I am bothered by two things. Number one, because I recorded this as a time lapse instead of a video, and that's why it kind of looks laggy. But anyways, and I'm also so sick of the notifications from the phone, because it was from my own headphones if I wanted to connect the headphones to this phone or not. And goodness, it didn't take no as an answer, and I was so pissed. But anyways, from the very last minutes, I've been rethinking if I should do this again or not. Now we're entering the battlefield. This was probably the most disgusting experience I've ever experienced, because what the flip, I simply could not. Doing nothing is probably one of my biggest chore. Since doing nothing, well, sometimes you gotta reconnect yourself. So I started doing some Gucci exercise, flexibility exercise. I kept dying. And I got so bored, I decided to make a novela with my Uzis and Sin from Gucci Murder Drones. Took a few naps, lay down, because my head was getting loud. And you know what? My whole self started feeling heavy, and I really disliked that. So I lay down a couple of times, as you can see. And I began thinking a lot. Oh, but Haru, you're so little. What you be overthinking about? Buddy, shut your bitch up. I'm sorry. I'm gonna steal your toes, damn. Cause bro, even if I look like a little girl, I do be thinking a lot about my future. A lot of what I wanna be. A lot if yeah. Imagine getting so bored I decided to build glitch projection towers. I almost died. Anyways. But the show must go on, and I decided to recreate that fighting scene with Sin and Uzi. Yeah. That was such a live action, don't you think? At this moment, if I were to rate how desperate I felt, I would say a 4 out of 10 of desperation at the moment. But then I got so bored. and I decided to just make Elle coquette. What do you think? Then after that, I decided that Pom Pom Purin will be my next victim. I started making him do cartwheels and spin and make him dizzy. He died. And then I felt regret I killed him, so I decided to cuddle him instead. And then I just decided to contemplate my life. Stretch again. Boom chakalaka. More stretching. Yes. More flexibility skills. I decided to play with my toes. Yeah, they bark. And again, lots of thinking. Head hurt. Head heavy. I lay down. Yay. Nap. Nappity nap nap. I guess. Does this count as doing nothing? As sleeping doing nothing? I guess. At least for this special occasion. After 10 years, I decided to rise. And then I celebrated. Oh, my voice cracked. Nothing happened, kitten whiskers. I was getting like a 7 out of 10 desperate. Desesperada. I was honestly feeling very uncomfortable with sitting or trying to be still, so I decided to just watch the new Cookie Run Kingdom update. And before I lose control, I took the right decision to just have my iPad moment, you know. Even if it was just a short video, it low-key made me feel calm and more at ease. Like, oh, you got an upset Haru? Okay, we're just gonna give her some Cookie Run Kingdom. Boom chakalaka, she already happy. And again, nap time, because head hurt. Head, lots of thoughts. Decided to spin. Got dizzy. And got to play around and mess around with bullcrap. Spin again. It fell. Yeah. Water, because you must stay hydrated, guys. I decided to play around with my hands, because I like scaring people. And boom chakalaka. Flexing. More boredom. Things. A lot. Dies. Internally. Head hurt. I wanna die. Or cry. Or neither. Or both. And then, decided to pick up my phone. Again. Why? Because I got the random thought of searching up what this blasphemy meant. Blasphemy. Blasting farts. Because I don't know what else to say. And then, of course, I decided to lay down because I was having an internal battle. Because I could not comprehend that I was doing supposedly nothing. So you know what I also did? Front flips on my bed. And then I accidentally revealed my beauty. So I had to hide it from every pony. Wise? Because then every pony is going to go crazy. On like whatever that was. And you know what I also did? I decided to just make sure that the prints were fine. And make myself look coquette. And then check the hour again. Feels with desperation. And then has an attack. Spins. Lays down. Uses phone. I began texting on a group chat, then head to TikTok, had a little time scrolling, and then I remembered that I was supposedly to do nothing. So like any individual would do, I yeeted my phone away, and I decided to do whatever that was. When I tell you I have no idea what flipping possessed me to play with sharks, and worst of all, I placed them on the flipping L, I have no idea why I did this, but sure. The boredom just got boring, guys. I decided to go beast mode and do some more front flips. Revealed my beauty once more. And then decided to just get depressed. Kinda. So we started stacking the glitch production tower again. Check the hour. Regret. Gets desperate. Spins. Messes around with sharks. Bro, you wanna know something? My younger self could have been like, oh, I want to be a future veterinarian. I wonder what could my future self be doing? Oh, absolutely nothing. Doing whatever this crap is. And as for my current self, I visualize myself doing lots of things. A lot. Everything except wasting my time doing absolutely nothing. Looking ridiculous. Mind you, when I started wasting my time, it was 6:07, I think. And it's already 8 p.m. Obviously. So from that moment, I decided to commit myself to never do this type of crap again. Because, in fact, I would lose my crap. There was only 1 minute left. And let me tell you, I was feeling like a 15 out of 10 desperation. And at the same time filled of excitement and whimsy. And so I decided to put back the sharks and celebrate. Whatever that is. And I got scared by the alarm. And that's when finally the war was over. If you were to ask me how much would I rate the story, I would say 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. I'm never doing that again. It took me it gave me flashbacks when you have to wait in a waiting room at a hospital, or be like, oh, I have an appointment for such day. Okay, pulse over the such day. Oh, we didn't tell you this, but you might as well have to be waiting for 5 hours. And what are you going to do? Don't know. But yeah, that's why I take my sketchbook, I take my flipping oven, I take my iPad. I forgot to count. And yeah, I take my whole flipping how do I say this? Maleta in English. I forgot. Like whatever. I'm going to take my whole flipping as if I were to move out. I'm taking my stuff to the flipping appointment. But yeah. Normal Puerto Rico behavior, some noises in the background. But anyways, I hope that this video somewhat helped. That, I don't know, it could be educational in some way. I don't know what do you learn, or what do I learn from this? Oh, we learn a lot. Like having patience. But yeah. I hope you enjoyed watching me suffer. That wasn't fun. But yay. Bye.